All right, what's up, everyone? Brandyn Pokrass here with the league winners. Here with FAU wide receiver Easton Messer. Easton, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. So my first question for you: you obviously transferred to FAU this season for this upcoming season. What led to your decision to commit to FAU, and were there any other schools you were considering in the meantime?
Yeah, I mean, just to start off, there was some other schools I was in contact with and considering, one of which being the school that I came from, WKU. I was definitely um, highly considering going back there. But as of how I landed here at FAU, I think the reason I decided to jump in the portal in the first place was just basically opportunity. I didn't feel as if my opportunity was maximized at WKU, and I didn't know really where the future of that program saw me fitting in, and I didn't really want to take a chance on having like another year of my career up in their hands and what they want to do schematically and things like that. So whenever I first got in, obviously I knew a Coach Kit. He was part of the reason why I came to Western in the first place. I mean, it wasn't like he recruited me super heavy being a quarterback coach and everything, but his system is why I chose Western. And I saw what receivers and especially slot receivers were able to do in his offense. So when I got in the portal, I had in mind that is someone I would like to talk to and all that stuff. Just so happened we were lucky enough to be able to go to a bowl game and play in the Boca Raton Bowl. And then my best friend, quarterback, still my quarterback, luckily, also decided it was best for him to see what his future opportunities could look like in the transfer portal. And we took a visit here right after the Boca Raton Bowl, which was nice. It worked out pretty easy. And to be honest, for me, it was like I said, it was early, so like I'm sure there were some other schools that might have gave me another good opportunity, but for me, once I sat down with Coach Kittley and was able to talk to him and really hear him say what I was thinking about how his offense works and what I could do in it, I knew this is where I wanted to be. And then being able to get Caden here, him also deciding this was his best opportunity was just a cherry on top. But I'm super glad that we were able to come here together and super excited to see what we can do this next year.
You alluded to this in your answer, but how do you expect to be utilized in Coach Zach Kittley's scheme? How excited are you with the offense as a whole? And then the last part, which you can take in whatever direction you want, is there a player that you want to try to emulate that has been in this type of offensive scheme in the past?
Yeah, so in terms of what I expect to do in this offense, I guess is literally just what every slot has been able to do in his offense. I mean, if you get a dude that's smart, can understand the defenses, can understand what's going on in the offense, where you're supposed to be, when you're supposed to be there, things like that, then you're going to be successful. It's only helped that I played in this scheme already to an extent for 3 years now. So it's been cool to be able to come in here and like have just as good an understanding as anybody else except for him in the building and be able to teach some of my other receivers and help them out and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, I just expect to be able to move around, catch a ton of balls, hopefully do a lot with the ball in my hands, score a lot of touchdowns. Yeah, but in terms of what I would like a player I would like to emulate, probably to be honest, in this offense, Jarrett Stearns. I mean, the year who was with Kittley, the year before I got to Western, I mean, he had I think 150 catches, just short of 2,000 yards, and just short of 20 touchdowns. So, if I can get my stats to look anything like that, then I would call it a pretty successful year. I never knew him. I knew his younger brother was with me at Western for about a year. Unfortunately, I never got to play with Jarrett, but I was definitely watching, and those are pretty similar to the numbers I have in my head for my goals this year.
Building beyond that, what are you hoping to improve on in 2025 with FAU?
Well, I want to, as a team thing, I want to win a conference championship. I know that's super important to me. It's also super important to Caden, especially at the quarterback position. Winning is, is also, it's a team goal, but also an individual goal, especially for quarterback. So I want to help this team not only improve from 3 to 9, but also possibly win a conference championship and compete for it. But for myself, just get better. Like, I mean, I know that's super broad, but I have two really great receiver coaches here, and DJ McCarthy and obviously Chris Carter, who is more of a player personnel guy, but will give me some tips here and there for sure. They've both been in the game since before I was born, have helped develop a lot of great receivers, and just have a lot of tools in their bag that they can, hand out to me and stuff like that. And then, I think just stats wise, honestly, I don't think my stats the past couple of years have resembled how good of a receiver I am. And I think finally being able to get into an offense that not only one allows me to get the ball, but two, I have people backing me that believe I'm a good player and I can get it done. I think that's really important too.
You mentioned it, and you mentioned the resources you have as a wide receiver and the coaching you have. Is there anything you're looking to improve on when it comes to your stems to maintain leverage or create separation from opposing defensive backs? Because at your position, route running is extremely paramount, especially with being in the slot like you usually are.
Yeah, I would consider myself a above average route runner, but yeah, like you said, like the tools that I'm able to gain from Chris and Coach McCarthy is like really special. Not a lot of people in the country get coaches like this. So I've already been talking to them. Some things that they pointed out, literally from just watching me in the bowl game, were things that I've been working on for years. So like since the first day I met them, and they were able to point those things out, like I knew that these guys are legit and they're going to be able to help me out. We haven't got into it too much yet, just because since I've been here, it's been a lot of recruiting. They've been on the road, things like that. But getting into spring ball and summer, fall camp, all that stuff, it'll definitely help me out for this next season.
That's awesome, man. But moving to, a more broader look at things, you are transferring from Conference USA to the AAC. What are you expecting in terms of competition? Are you expecting that it's going to be a big adjustment or more in line with what you faced in your past years in college?
I think it'll be more in line than what a lot of people would think. Um, part of that just comes with my confidence as who I am as a player. I think I can go to any conference in the country and compete and play and not have many problems. But I mean, I think there's talent all over the country, and there's guys that slip through the cracks that I probably played in Conference USA that could be playing at a bigger school as well. So I think it's a cool opportunity for sure to be able to play, although I'm not playing in Power Four. Like I think playing the Memphises and playing the Tulane and playing East Carolina is definitely a cool opportunity. I would consider it a step up, although it's G5 to G5. But talent wise, I'm not too worried about it.
What do you anticipate will be the biggest adjustment?
Um, for me, I always think as you step up levels, which I would consider the American a step up from Conference USA. I always say like the only difference between the DBs at where I was, Western Kentucky, and when we were playing Alabama week 1 is about an inch and a tenth of a second. Like, they're probably an inch taller and a tenth of a second faster, maybe got some longer arms. So maybe a little bit of size. For me personally, I know, the trenches is where really the biggest difference is. So if you were asking Caden, it'd probably be the defensive lineman rushing at him and whatnot. But yeah, I don't. I think the competition is going to be about the same. I expect myself to hold my own pretty well.
As you guys head towards spring practices, what has the feel around the team been, and how excited are you to build a new culture at FAU?
To be honest, that's been my favorite part probably since I've been here. Just getting a group of guys that were 3-9 last year. It like walking in day one, like spirits aren't super high, and although you got a new staff and whatever, like 3-9 isn't great. And to be able to see those habits since like literally the first conditioning we had day one, just to see kind of how everybody carried those habits and who wanted to break them and who didn't, how people were going to respond to new coaches, and like what Coach Bealey, our new strength staff, wanted to implement in us, and who was going to fight it and who was going to be negative, and then who was going to roll with it. And then just being able to like help guys work, man. Like there's nothing like I'll shout out Platt, my guy Platt, another receiver for us who's going to be great this year. Like motivated guy, but just being able to work out with him and just push him a little bit more, make him work a little bit harder every day. And then like it went from the first day me beating him in the runs and he's like trying to keep up, like, okay, somebody's beating me now. Like I was, the dude that was always at the front of the run. Now somebody's beating me. And now he's getting back. He's getting to beat me in some of the runs and some of the sprints. So we're always competing, and just to be able to, put in some of that culture alongside with the strength staff and Caden and stuff like that, I think it's been pretty cool.
You've mentioned Caden a bunch of times throughout this interview, right? He obviously is your guy. He mentioned you in his interview, how important you are to him. I want you to talk about, how much easier has he made the transition to FAU for you, and what does he mean to you on the field and off of it?
Yeah, I mean, the transition-wise, I mean, it made it a lot easier probably. I can't even really envision what it would have looked like without him. But, I mean, it almost makes it feel like not even a transition, right? It's just like me and my guy down in Florida now instead of Kentucky. But, I mean, on the field, he's great. He's a great leader. He's a great thrower, great runner. Yeah, I think he really like makes a team like mesh, which we haven't been able to totally see yet probably here, but we also haven't been able to actually play ball, and I know that's important to him. He doesn't want to be the guy that just walks in somewhere and is like, "Oh, look at what I did," like over here at my old school. Like he wants guys to respect him because of what he's currently doing. And I think I mention him a lot because we have these conversations almost every day. So everything I'm thinking goes back to kind of how me and him talk. But yeah, off the field, I mean, yeah, he's just my best friend. We do everything together, especially now. Being in Florida, we don't have the other guys that like we're in our friend group or whatever in Western Kentucky. So we're figuring this thing out together, trying to find ways to, make this thing work on and off the field, and, just try to be the best ball players we can be, and while enjoying ourselves in the meantime.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, you guys have really spoken about that bond. And, that's so important as you head to a new school, and also, as both you have mentioned, building a new culture at your new school. So shifting towards an eye toward the regular season, what game, if any, do you have circled on your calendar this season as one that you're maybe the most excited for? Or you're like, hey, this is a matchup that I can really show some things that, I know I can do and I've shown, but now I can show it on a bigger stage. Run me through some of those if there are any for you.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Maryland's the big one. The biggest game of the year is always going to be the ones that dudes want to, get on the big screen and show what they can do. So, that game is going to be pretty cool. I think my trainer, Chris Vaughn, knows some people on the staff maybe. So, yeah, I always like to back him. And then, yeah, I mean, really every game's the same. I want to catch a lot of balls, get a lot of yards, score some touchdowns in every game. But like, I think Memphis is a cool one. Tulane will be fun playing TJ Finley, who I was also fortunate enough to play with for some of my time at Western Kentucky, who's also a great quarterback. He's at Tulane now, so that'll be a fun one for me and Caden to see him and play against him. I think ECU will be fun. My high school quarterback actually is a freshman there this year, so him and his brother. So that'll be a fun one. Probably those are the ones I'm most excited for, but I'm excited to play in every game, to be honest, like I said.
Love to hear that. And then my last question for you, you've kind of spoke about this throughout a bunch of your answers, but I want to give you the opportunity to just put it into one final answer. What goals or what goals do you have for yourself and as for basically the team FAU in 2025 for this year?
Um, for myself, I've put a lot of thought into these, but for myself, one of the things I really want to do, it's definitely a big goal, but looking back on the past and the dudes that I've played for Coach Kittley and stuff like that, for myself, I want to be top 5 in the country in pretty much every receiving category. I want top 5 in receptions, top 5 in yards, top 5 in touchdowns, which also would have me most likely would probably have me breaking the FAU school receiving records. I think held by, I forget his name, but I think it was in 2023 maybe. I think he had like close to 120 receptions. I think 1,200 yards would be the most, and then only about 10 touchdowns. So I think those things will be cool, and then help the team win a championship, help Coach Kittley win a championship, help Caden win a championship. Those things are really important to me as well. Yeah, winning a champion. To be honest, I didn't win a state championship in high school. We came up just short at Western Kentucky. I've never really won a championship, so that's still something I really want to get my hands on, and for myself, for my team, but also like I keep saying, like for Caden, like I want to do that with him. Yeah, I think it would be really cool if we were able to come in here and just be a small piece of the puzzle for a 3-9 team to flip to a conference championship winning team.
Love that answer, man. Really appreciate your time. Before we get out of here, where can everyone find you on social media?
Social media, I'm at Easton Messer, 2 R's, EastonMesserr. Twitter and TikTok, I'm not so into, but yeah, that's my Instagram, and that's about it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. I'm Brandyn Pokrass with Easton Messer. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.